Okay. My name's Toby Adshead, and this is my presentation on Sustain the Quarantine. The narrative of my story is about a scientist who has been put into a quarantine because he has an infection, which is turning people into some sort of creatures. The scientist, whose name is Jace Schofield, is the only person who knows the cure for the infection. However, because he's trapped in quarantine, he has to find a way to escape the place. Once Jace escapes the quarantine, he's on the run from the security that run the place and also the infected that are roaming the streets. However, there isn't that many infected because they've all been placed into the quarantine that he was in. The streets that he's in are more like ghost towns. However, there are some like zombies that haven't been caught. Because Jace knows a cure, he's trying to get to his laboratory that's in London. He has to make a cure for it, and he's the only one that knows it. When Jace does eventually get to his laboratory, he starts making the cure for the infection, but slowly starts to die because the infection is starting to take over his body. As he adds the last part of the infection to the last part of the cure, he falls over in the lab, and the cure gets tipped down the sink, which he's working next to. The film then cuts to black and then cuts to the security killing all the infected in the quarantine. Throughout my film, the main character will be having flashbacks to a time which makes him the most happiest, and remembers what the city was when it was happy and full of life. What makes my film a UK film is that both of my actors will be English. Also, the whole of my film will be shot in the UK, so there'll be references to landmarks that are notoriously known for being in England. My film also fits the genre of UK-based films, for example, for films like 28 Days Later, where it takes the same sort of aspect. The film uses drama elements to add the realism to make the film more grounded, unlike an American movie like I Am Legend, which is the same sort of genre. Jace Schofield, who will be played by Rupert Grint, will be a good actor for my film because he's quite young and he fits the part. My film will only really have one actor, which is Rupert Grint, so it will take more of an aspect of like I Am Legend, where it only has one main actor. I also think he'll be good because of his leading role in Harry Potter, and he'll bring a lot of fan base to the film. He's also good because that he's young. He'll be faster and he'll look more agile when he's being chased by zombies and being chased by the security in the place. Robert Sheehan will be playing Barry Jones in the film, and he will be the best friend of Jace. However, since the infection got out, they lost each other and they have no idea where each other are. Robert Sheehan will only be in the film for a short part because he'll only be in the flashbacks where Jace will be like missing basically his best friend from childhood. Robert Sheehan, I think he'll be a good actor because he's played a good role in Misfits, and he's going to be playing the same sort of role where he's quite funny and he's got quite a lot of humour about him. So when the flashbacks do take place, it will make more sense. It will bring the flashbacks and it'll make it more funnier. Robert Sheehan also helps the UK film aspect because he's born in England. Okay. The costume Rupert Grint will be wearing is quite casual because when he gets put into quarantine, he has no chance to change. As the film goes on, he will keep the same clothes on, but he will have some new attire, such as a gas mask for when he walks into some of the infected areas. Near the end of the film, Rupert Grint will be wearing a lab coat as he enters his lab. This will only be the major change to clothing in the film. In the flashbacks, Robert Sheehan will be wearing summer clothing, which will be things like a t-shirt and shorts. This is because the flashbacks will be bright and sunny, so having summer clothing will add to the effect of the flashback being more cheerful. That's the location. Okay, the location of my film will take place in England. This is because it's a UK film. The first part of my film will be based in Wolverhampton. This is because this is where the quarantine is going to be based. and also where the first part of the film will be based. The second location will be in London. This is because this is where the scientist lab is located. London will also help towards the UK film because the film will have references to famous landmarks that are there. For example, the Houses of Parliament. London will play a big part in the film because the majority of the film will be set there. I've chosen London because it's best known place in England and it is known around the world. The other locations in my film will take place inside the quarantine, which will be very dirty and it will be littered with dead and dying people. The other locations will be very ghost town looking streets. This is because everywhere will be abandoned. The last main location of the film will be in the lab. The lab will look quite pristine because it was securely locked up. However, some of the equipment will be lying on the floor. When the zombies do a break into the lab after Jace dies, the lab will look completely wrecked. This is my storyboard. It shows like different shots that my film will be taking. Like you can see when a representation of when the main actor will be putting on the mask, and when there's a zoom from his eye to like a mid shot, and the other shots that will be taking place in the film. That's my testing. Press. Okay, this is my production schedule. I know you probably can't see it there, but in my pre-production location,
Like a plague, the adenovirus disease spread across some country.
Let's go back on. Okay, my pre-production, the location manager will be there for the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, and my director and producer will be there for the whole of the course. My scriptwriter will be there for 5 weeks. My production manager will be there for the whole time. My special effects, like things like makeup and other stuff that's going to make the film more like gory and stuff like that, will be there for the last 4 weeks. My camera operator will be there for like 5 weeks because like he will need to know like the type of film he's going to be doing, so he need to like rehearse that. The costume will be there for the whole course. The actors will be there for the last 2 weeks because they need to do rehearsals, so the actors' rehearsals and read-throughs will take place for 2 weeks and the read-throughs will take place for 4. Production, everything will be there for the whole time because this is when the film's going to be made, so everything needs to be there. On post-production, director will be there for the whole time, editor will be there for the whole time. CGI will be there for the last 4 weeks, so that will be when the editing's being finished and you can add on top of it. The filer will be there for 4 weeks. The production manager will be there for the whole course. Sound mix will be there for 5, and the composer will be there for 5. Go back. My film's going to be released around the summer holidays. This is because this is the main time people break up, so it'll be about around the 12th of August. This is my budget. Here's my equipment list, and The budget of my film is going to consist of the shooting crew, which is 24,000, the rigging crew, which is about 27,000, lighting crew for 24,000, editor 33,000. There are other things such as sound crew, which will cost 31,000, and costume in general, so things like costume assistant, wardrobe designer, makeup artist and makeup artist assistant will come up to 37,000. The actors in my films the actors in my film, like Rupert Grint, will cost 5 million. This is because he's the main role and the majority of the film will only be based around him. So he will have to have a big pay cut because of how much the film's based around him. Plus, because he's such a big actor in the UK now, he's going to cost quite a lot. Robert Sheen will only get 100,000 because he's in the film for a short bit, and that is when the main actor has flashbacks for when they used to be friends. However, 100,000 is a good price for any actor that's going to be acting for that many days. The target audience of my film will be males, range from 15 to 25, which is social economic grouping of E, and the appeal will be to people who are younger age of the group, so around 15 to 18. The film will also appeal to people who like post-apocalyptic films, for example, films like 28 Days Later, another UK film. My film will be based more at males because they prefer films like this because of the blood and gore involved. It's a social economic grouping of E because the viewers will be students and they will have a disposable income. The legal and ethical of my film. The branding in the film won't be very visible, mainly because the actors' clothing will be ripped, broken and dirty. However, the film, when the main actor goes into the big street, there will be some signs that are owned by companies, for example, companies like Samsung, and I'll have to ask them for permission to use their logo. There will also be drink companies like Pepsi and other things like that, so I'll have to ask them to use their logo and maybe have to pay them for that. I'm using companies like this because they are well known around the world, so when the film makes references to these brands, the people will know what they are. I'll also be using music, so I'll have to ask bands if I can use their music, and I will have to pay them to use it. Copyright my film won't be an issue. This is because brands will only be shown in the film if they either asked to be in the film or have paid them to be in the film. The royalties in the film mean that every time the film is played, a cut between the actors, the crew and other people who help make the film get a small percentage of money from it being played. The representation of race and gender will not be affected in the film, so no stereotypical actions will take place. That's it.